Hey, how are you all doing? I hope that you're doing just as well as possible wherever you are. So, as you can see, we have a card pulled here already. I had started your reading and then Luna came in and started meowing incessantly in my face, and so I had to deal with her needy ass for a moment. So I'm gonna pull these cards on screen, I'm gonna pull them here in real time for this reading for you guys. This is a collective reading, so if it's yours, it's yours. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, don't worry, it's not personal. It just means that this is not a message that you need at this time, but somebody else does, okay? So, we are going to look at what came through as wanting to be spoken is that for whoever this message is for, there's a part of you that has been settling in some area of your life that feels significant. And they have something that they want to communicate to you. That specific part of you that settled wants to say something to you now for some reason. So I feel like for most of you, you're probably not still in this energy of settling. Some of you may be far out from it. Some of you may be just making a shift to kind of like move different, or maybe you're raising your standards in some area. And where you were settling could be in any area of your life. It could just be kind of overall, or it could be in a relationship or surrounding work or some sort of specific goal in your life. So just again, take it as it resonates for your message. But we're just going to look at the energy of that part of you, what they wish to communicate to you or bring to your attention, and what is needed from you most right now. So it's going to be a pretty simple reading. And yeah, we'll just start with the basics, dive in and see what wants to come through. So the first card that I pulled, this is in regards to the energy of this part of you. And it's interesting that the relief card came out. I'm going to read the description for this card from the book just to get us started and situated into the energy, because I feel like this is pretty significant and kind of says a lot right from the get-go. The fact that this card is the one that came out also really kind of validates my initial feeling that you are maybe not in that state of currently settling anymore. This is something that you could be currently breaking out of, or you've been on a journey of breaking out of that. So let's read this card, and then we'll pull a couple more to build the spread around it. So this card says the end of suffering or hard times, a much needed relief or break in the energy, miracles, rescue, and reprieve. And then it says meditate on this symbol when it all seems too much. Feel it blast out the negative as you call in strength to your heart. So this is actually an Icelandic stave symbol, and it is for the end of strife. So it's associated with ending suffering and calming anger. Okay. Pretty interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to pull the rest of the cards. I'm going to pull one oracle card and one tarot card to start for each placement of the spread. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to actually put them like this in a row, I think. Okay. So what does this part of my collective wish to communicate? What do they wish to communicate? So this is just a part of you, an element of you, maybe even a past version of you that wants to bring something to your awareness. Bad shuffle. Okay. What do they wish to communicate at this time? that. And then what is needed most from my collective? Okay. What's needed most? Relief. This could specifically be a relief of the heart. I'm just noticing that this card is kind of like this mossy green color, which can be related to the heart chakra, but it's also just sort of coming through as like new growth as well, almost like something that was stifling before, like your own playing small, maybe lack of standards or small, or not having appropriate boundaries that are in alignment with your worth and value. There's something here that you're feeling relief because it's almost like there's room to breathe now. You're not being stifled by the part of you that was playing small anymore. Or the part of you that was settling. There's something about the settling that was keeping you small. And now there's like a relief, either of the heart or just of the part of you that has been wanting to grow and flourish. Okay. So this card wanted to be seen. It came out in the upright. But let's turn these ones over. Yeah, retreat and new life. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I feel like whatever this is, like we're going to get some clarifying cards here with the tarot, but it feels as though you're stepping into something new and it requires you to nurture yourself, and therefore you cannot really play small. You cannot really settle, or you can't really take on energies that are not aligned with your new path. You're entering into something new, and I feel like it's requiring some level of retreat from potentially something that was making you, well, an area in your life where you were settling. I think that that part of you may be relieved to be actually taking a break here. It's like a lesson could have been learned or integrated. And now the door is open for something new. As you pull away from this, you're feeling almost like there's a sense of restoration here, or just, yeah, getting rest that is much needed, almost is how that's coming through. Rest that wasn't able to happen while you were, I want to say, like making yourself available to something that was not in alignment with you or with your forward motion or growth. Something, again, that was maybe a little bit stifling in some sort of way, or just heavy or burdensome. But yeah, there's definitely a sense of relief. Okay. So this part of you that has been settling is feeling like they can breathe a little bit more now that, or they will be, they're either longing for relief currently if you haven't already kind of made this shift. And then I feel like in that case, the message of communication here has something to do with like there's something that does need to maybe be retreated or stepped back from in order for new growth to come in, and you're going to feel a sense of relief. This part of you that's settling is feeling very burdened, and they're like, it's almost the sense of, I can't keep this up much longer. This is not sustainable. Nurturing is needed so that I can have that renewal that's going to like open up something new here. A new path, a new reality, a new way of perceiving the self and the world around them. So there's something about that. Let's clarify. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about the energy of the version that was settling here. Tell me more about that energy. So this is either a change that you've already implemented, and this part of you is saying, thank you for moving in this direction because I'm feeling relief. I'm feeling like I'm finally able to rest and renew and see things a little more clearly. Wake up to something, some truth maybe that being in a certain situation was not allowing you to see. And I'm hearing direction. I'm hearing direction. So maybe you weren't seeing a direction. The Seven of Swords and the High Priest, which is the Hierophant. So Taurian energy. I feel like there's something hidden around a commitment. The Seven of Swords can talk about strategy, but it can also talk about just something, some sort of illusion, something that's not being seen clearly. And it can be your own mind or perception that's blocking you, or it can also be the communication or the expression of something else or someone around you that you're engaged with that's not clear. I'm kind of feeling though here it's like something that was not really anyone's fault necessarily. It's just something that was just not seen. It was unconscious. So it's just, if it's just you settling in a situation that doesn't really have to do with one other specific prominent person or archetype in your energy field, then I think this is just something that's like one of those things you just don't know until you know it. You know, as we learn and integrate lessons, things become revealed to us, right? We gain knowledge, which we then kind of structure and build our life on top of that foundation. But there's something key here that you were committed to, and it was always meant to have an aspect of haziness to it, I feel like. It's almost coming through as like a mystery, something that needed to be solved or just really looked at closely or seen through. But it's interesting, you may have like looked at something closely. You know when you're looking at something and you just keep looking at it and looking at it, like if you write an essay and you're just going over it and over it before you submit it, for instance. And at some point you're like, I can't even tell if I am like, if the edits that I'm making are making this worse or better at this point. Like you get to that point where you hit a wall and you need to step away, you need to retreat and kind of refresh your mind so that you can come back with fresh eyes. That is also an element of this that's coming through. So this could be something that you've been focused on or that you were focused on for, quite some time. Whatever this is, you may have not even realized that you were settling within it because you were so focused within it, trying to succeed or reach a certain level of achievement with something that you may not have realized that at some point it's kind of coming through like the plot was lost a little bit. Like you maybe didn't realize whatever the initial goal was, the trajectory shifted or something shifted within the situation that I feel like was hidden from view that is now becoming, you're more aware of it as you kind of take a step back or retreat from the situation, or someone else, maybe if this is involving someone else could be retreating from you. But I'm feeling that this is actually for your highest benefit. But this part of you that's coming through is that I think that you are actually committed at this point to seeing through something, though. That's kind of what this is saying to me. It's like the more relieved that you feel as you get distance from something, the easier it is for you to actually look at something honestly that you may have struggled to look at or see clearly at one point or another. Maybe because of your loyalty to it or because of like a specific level of very strong commitment that you had to something. For some reason, that could have somewhat blinded you in this situation. Okay. But yeah, there could have been some sort of deception as well. But I am seeing that there was an important element to this. Like, even if there was confusion and deception in a certain commitment, even if there was an element of you that was settling within this or felt stifled, it did offer you something very key that was always meant to teach you something and maybe even set you free in some sort of way. For some of you, you needed to be pushed, like stifled to the brink of suffocation in order to retreat and break out of something that you wouldn't have walked away from otherwise. And now as you retreat, it's almost like you got pushed to your limit, but this pushed you into a new life a new standard, a new way of being for yourself. Anything else around that energy? No. I feel like this is being grounded in, and everything that you've learned, even like this could be a situation that as you gain distance, it continues to reveal itself to you. So more and more about the situation unfolds in your understanding, even as you are not in communication with someone, or as you are like out of the situation in a physical sense. This could be coming to you through just continued reflection, or just things that come up that are made clear to you as you process and move through your understanding here. Okay, so then we have retreat and new life. This is what this element of you wishes to communicate. I think this is a time for great shifts and changes for you, whoever you are here. But again, there's this element of sacrifice for something new. It's like you can't hold the old life while stepping into a new reality, right? There is something that needs to be, there's something that needs to be released or offered. Can you clarify retreat, please? There's also something about going back as you step out of something, because this card is number 40 and this is 39. They're from two totally different decks, but it's going down even though you're stepping into a new life. So it's almost like taking a step back is actually pushing you forwards here. Retreating is pushing you forwards. The Knight of Cups, okay. For some of you, you're stepping back from like romance. You're just not focusing on connection or dating, or maybe you're just stepping away from a particular connection that you were, there's a heart element, a feeling element to this. It doesn't have to be romantic, but with this Knight of Cups specifically on all the roses, there is quite a feeling of romance here. So it could be for some of you, some sort of romantic connection that was quite confusing, that you're taking a break from, or you're stepping back from. You're feeling relief. And I'm actually feeling that you are connecting more to your heart and the truth of your feelings, the more distance that you get from somebody else. So if this is about a connection for some of you, then someone else's confusion or indecision may have been maybe impacting or infiltrating you more than you knew. Yeah, the Nine of Swords, especially if someone was very in their head or overthinking. I feel like your heart is very clear, but there's something that it's like a relief to step back into the clarity of your heart through retreating from something else that was maybe very disconnected from their heart, disconnected from their feelings, very much in their mind, maybe. Or in a really strategic sort of approach to life, I want to say. Okay. New life. I don't feel like by retreating, you're disconnecting from your heart. If anything, I feel like you're connecting more to it by pulling back from whatever the specific thing was where you were settling in some way. For some of you, this is you're closing out a long-standing pattern or cycle in things that you commit to or connect to that have been holding you back from, again, kind of opening up a new, like a whole new way of being, or a whole new approach to something. Okay, tell me about new life. Okay, that's too many. Three of Pentacles was on top though. So yeah, it does have to do with how you cooperate and collaborate with other people, just in any type of relationship. Like maybe what the basis of connection is for you. You could be reassessing that. Okay. The King of Pentacles down. That's beautiful energy. Okay. Super abundant, super stable and secure. And yeah, just expansive energy, very grounded, very strong Taurian energy here, because for me, the King of Pentacles is also Taurus. And then we have the Hierophant, which is their major arcana card. So this new life has to do with a lot of abundance for you. And I think that it has to do with what you allow yourself to receive, right? It's almost this energy of by retreating, you're saying, I'm not open to receiving that kind of whatever anymore, that standard of connection, that standard of reciprocation, that standard of, I don't know, payment for what I offer, for my services. Something like that. Okay. But the Knight of Cups and the King of Pentacles is a pretty beautiful energy. It's showing open-heartedness, and that following that and your intuition and kind of like continuing to retreat from things that feel heavy into things that feel beautiful and like kind of a natural respite or relief to your soul and your heart. That is what is pushing you into almost an effortless abundance and expansion. But this card also talks about keeping your heart close to your chest, not shut down, but retreating into like a safe, quiet place and gathering your own resources, because there is something that is coming that is pushing you forward. So it's almost like a preparatory energy. Working on aligning your body, mind, and soul, and actually making them strong and unencumbered. Kind of like getting your shit in a row, because there are changes that are going to come in, or changes that lay ahead that you want to be prepared for. Okay. So I feel like for a lot of you, this has to do with some sort of abundance coming in that you need to feel, you need to be able to open your arms to receive this. And I feel like there was a lot of heaviness, or there was a lot of weight. There was something that was, again, stifling you, or kind of bearing down on you is what I want to say. This is what you're kind of backing away from or moving out of. And I feel like you're moving out of it by removing a certain level of commitment or changing your commitment or loyalty to something. And that is happening through seeing through a veil of illusion or some confusion that I feel you couldn't see through when you were standing too close. It's like when you're standing very close to a work of art, you can see all the detail, you can see the brushes of, you can see all the paint strokes, but you may not be able to get a clear picture of the entire image. Or a feel for the whole picture as a whole, right? So I think that that's what's kind of happening is you're zooming out, you're gaining perspective. This is a relief to your heart and soul. And it's also allowing you to drop something that has felt heavy or strenuous and align your heart, soul, your body, mind, and spirit, basically. There's something about an abundance mindset as well, whereas the part of you that was settling would have been in somewhat of a scarcity or a lack-based mindset. So it's almost like you're seeing that by maybe tying yourself to something that was weighing you down, you were, settling, right? You were unable to be open to a level of good things that wanted to come through to you. Is there anything else about what this part or archetype of my collective wishes to communicate here? I'm hearing that you're becoming more established within yourself. Wow, the King of Cups and the Ten of Cups are both at the bottom of the deck, with the King of Pentacles. See, it's you're being more established in your heart. You're reaching this level of fulfillment, and I feel like it is not coming from anyone outside of you. It's like you're creating this, or you're realizing that you don't actually need to look anywhere else. You hold all of this within you. So you're able to step back, but you still have the fullness of heart and emotional fulfillment within you, even when you do step back from maybe like being open to certain connections. It's almost like through that you are discovering that you're not lonely, that you're not missing anything. In fact, it feels like more of a relief to come home to yourself. I'm almost getting like you saying, I can love me better. Like, I can love me better than whoever could, right? And in some cases that's it, right? It's like our soul might feel at ease and relief when we step out of situations with someone who could not meet us or reciprocate what we had to give. And then we're actually getting better loving just from ourselves, rather than trying to convince someone that we're worthy, or trying to teach someone who doesn't understand or isn't at that place where they're open or available how to like treat us correctly or how to love us, right? Which can be extremely exhausting. So, because that has nothing to do with you. It's not your worth that is causing that person to not be able to love you. It's their own inability in not having learned probably how to love themselves that way. And therefore, you know, they don't really know how to show up and love others in that way either. Okay, so the gazelle is what this part is saying is needed most from you right now. And the gazelle is actually an energy of vulnerability, heightened awareness, being aware of your own capabilities, and holding grace. So it's about being sophisticated, being elegant, being very aware of your surroundings and the landscape or the life or the environment that you have put a lot of effort into cultivating. So whether that is your internal state of being that you've cultivated into a place of beauty, clarity, and abundance, there is the need to kind of like sit in that and to be perceptive of it, inspired by it, and move with grace through that with an energy of gratitude, understanding that, you know, what you have built for yourself and how beautiful it truly is. But this is an energy of being present and acknowledging how much you really have, like how much richness you have surrounding you, and allowing your soul to be open, vulnerable, in a gentle state so that it can receive nourishment from the life that you have created and built. So this does seem like you're kind of right now, for whoever this message is for, it's like you are stepping out of a phase where you were playing small, where you felt like you were settling in some area of your life. You were committed to something that was keeping you confused, or held back in some way. And through retreating from that, you're able to renew the depths of your own heart and soul just by being with yourself, returning to yourself. It's almost like you're waking up from a nap that was confusing, or a dream that was confusing, and you're looking around and you're seeing like, wow, my existence is actually absolutely stunning. This is my life. And maybe part of your awareness of the beauty of your existence that you've created, or how far you've come, was blocked from you through your engagement with something specific here. Okay, can you tell me more about what is needed at this time? Clarify the gazelle energy. But yeah, the gazelle is very gentle, very unassuming, but again, very much aware, perceptive, but calm. Present and responsive. What is needed? What's needed at this time? The High Priestess, perceptive and aware. Yeah. it's a time to be very much with yourself. There's something very intuitive, and I think that it's a time to it's to be present and to observe what is unfolding around you, almost with this energy of radical acceptance, of not needing to analyze, not needing to label like, oh, that's good, that's bad, that's this is that, but more so just allow everything to just be what it is, and be open to kind of just observing things as they unfold and responding gracefully and thoughtfully in alignment with yourself to whatever it is that does present itself to you. That's kind of what it feels like is needed most at this time. And I think that that is because you're going to be asked to respond to something that is coming in that I feel like is going to change your life in some way. And I think you've been laying the foundation for this. You've been putting down the bricks, but maybe you didn't realize how far you'd actually come in your creation of this because you were in the thick of it. But there's something, it feels, that's shifting, that is kind of like propelling you very quickly now into some sort of shift. There is a lot that's unknown, though. The High Priestess corresponds with the energy of the moon, the planet, the moon. And so this is very perceptive, very feminine energy, very, again, being present, being sensually tuned in. So feeling energy, which happens, right? You can feel these more subtle shifts when you are present and tuned into like your baseline in any given moment. Then you can feel when something subtle shifts in the energy. You can feel when something is added to the equation or taken from the equation that changes something, and you can see how that change corresponds to certain elements, right? So there's something about that, and being tuned into your intuition so that you can respond to retreating from things that pull you out of this kind of vulnerable openness. And you can move towards things that kind of awaken that abundance and that gratitude and grace and this feeling of being safe and secure to just kind of blossom, honestly. Okay, so is there anything else? Are there any final messages, or is that basically what wants to come through? So things are shifting, times are changing, the winds are moving things for whoever this message is for. But I think that this is mostly this part of you saying like you're on the right track. And even if it feels difficult at certain points to pull yourself back, your energy back, or watch someone else or something else maybe retreat from your life, understand, I think that you'll understand when you really do tune into the present moment and how you're feeling, that this is a relief to you in some way, and that it is pushing you towards something that's beautiful that you've been cultivating, that you're going to be sitting in a more established kind of position of. And I see this as being very positive for you. So yeah, I think that that might be it. Yeah, that's everything that wants to come through for this message, you guys. I love you so very much. There could be some fear surrounding this, and maybe that's why this little validating message is coming through. You're definitely on the right track. You could have been going through something, again, that has maybe made you feel a little bit weary or burdened. Keep moving forwards. You are coming out of that. Even if it feels like you're taking a step back, you're going to see soon that this is actually... it's actually helped you renew and bloom in a way that hasn't fully come into your awareness yet, but you're going to start feeling it and seeing that reflected around you quite soon is what I feel. So I love you so much. I'm going to leave the message there. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.